Welcome back to episode 4 of the 2023 CrossFit season. So I'm going to be breaking down another workout. It is Friday Night Lights at Prodigy Fitness, and we were throwing down with the crew. So this workout is 5 rounds for time, 40 double unders. It is 3 wall walks, 15 toes to bar, and then 20 dual kettlebell deadlifts with 70s for the guys and 53s for the ladies. So for this workout, I'm going to go over basic strategy, some tips and tricks to help you improve your times, and some things to consider and think about as we are getting prepared for the Open, which is less than 2 weeks away. So looking at this workout, going for 5 rounds, I like to think of total cumulative volume. So in total, it's 200 double unders, 15 wall walks, 5 times 15, 75 toe to bar, and then 100 dual kettlebell deadlifts. So pretty good moderate amount of volume. I didn't really set like a goal time. It was more based off of a round to round thing. Trying to really test my grip because I know I'd be hanging on for the double unders very lightly. The flexion of the wrists and the forearms on the wall walks, the toe to bar into that dual kettlebell grip couplet that we're gonna see here. And we're gonna see the breakdown as we go throughout this workout. So first round, everything's unbroken, everything's feeling smooth here. Using my grips underneath the kettlebell to help take and alleviate some of that pressure. With the deadlifts, the key kind of here is to move as efficiently as possible. I'm trying to focus on a clean lockout and breathing at the top while having somewhat control coming down and not just hinging purely with the back. I would like to also have another camera to see the side angle of this. But for now, we're just gonna be head on as we have Lou to my left right now and Andy to my right. So the angling of stuff and trying to be respectful of people's spaces is something I consider as I'm working out and trying to record these workouts and describe them. So here we are in round number 2. Round number 1 took 1:48, and we will see and go through the drop off round to round. So the shirt came off right away. It is very cold here in Maryland, very windy, cold day. But inside, it was getting pretty hot. So 40 double unders again, focusing here on looking at how the knees are, how the feet and the ankle positioning is. Am I using more shoulder? Can I get the elbows in there a little bit more? Wrist positioning, everything. So how the rope was set down, that cost me a valuable 3 to 4 seconds. Something to consider and think about, something I maybe need to practice transition-wise into the Open and the quarterfinals. On these wall walks, you'll notice that I do flip my grips onto the backside. You saw on the dubs that I had the grips over top of the handles. The reason being is if the grips are on the outside, typically I do have a trip up where the grip runs over and clogs up the path of the rope. So that's why they're kind of sprayed on the back of my hands for the wall walks, and they are on the palms of my hands for the double unders. It's a pretty quick transition. Victory Grips makes a wonderful leather grip that I prefer. It has that nice dyed black, which is just for an aesthetic. It doesn't help or hurt with anything. But in particular, talking about this bar, it is, I believe, a Spiel bar, but for whatever reason, it was a little more slick than I'm accustomed to. As you can see, I do use a box to get up there, and it is a lot higher jump. So the positioning and feel on the hands was a little bit different, but I don't want to have ideal conditions for every single workout. So that is why I'm using a higher bar, having a different setup, a different feel. So something very important too is to not get comfortable with just performing and practicing one way. Being at one, like your favorite spot in the gym or your favorite piece of equipment, your favorite barbell, really trying to mix things up and get yourself out of your comfort zone in a comfortable space like the common gym that you're in. So in a competition setting where things aren't perfect, it's nothing new. You can just step right in and you are ready to rock and roll. So in this set, we have the dual dumbbell deadlifts. I was very surprised with how the second set felt and how taxing that was. So I believe that was another unbroken set of 20. Very cardio based. If you're not breathing at the top, you're hunched over and the heart rate is going to go up. I think it was the most cardio intensive part of the workout. I like double unders and it's more of a rest. I'm upright, I'm breathing real well. I just need to focus on keeping my legs and positioning a little bit better. As you will see, I do get a little squirrely. One thing I was trying to do and be mindful of is staying in between the 2 posts of the rig to not allow myself to go left or right, but to stay as centered as possible, focusing on a very up and down motion with the dubs. Here we go. Another misplacement of the rope. Not the cleanest setup here. So something, again, I would like to practice on and focus on. But as you will note too, these wall walks are going to significantly slow down. Looking at the total time of that second round, that took 2 minutes and 20 seconds. That was a plus 32 second change from the previous round of 148. So not super happy with that drop off. I don't know if I needed to attack a little bit more. The transitions were a little slow. We also have to consider the transition from the the kettlebells back to the rope was slower than it should have been. It's probably where I can save 5 to 6, 7 seconds there. So getting into our next set of toes to bar here. As you will note, I don't have a great kip coming forward, something I would like to work on. I do get good head positioning through, but it's something technique-wise I definitely need to work on and become more proficient at. I was also a little bit sketched out at the height of this bar because my grip really was starting to blow up. We are into the third round of toe to bar here, and for now, the capacity, at least for the grip on my forearms, is just simply not there. Going from 15 toe to bar to 20 deadlifts, it was starting to accumulate. The dubs wasn't too much of a factor, but surprisingly, I did feel a little bit of that forearm fire up on the 3 wall walks. So here we are with the 20 deadlifts. You will notice I have a very narrow stance with my feet. I'm very controlled, again, focusing on getting good lockout position of the chest. We're not half repping anything here. We're doing full range of motion. For this one, mentally, the cue is just kind of help push the hips back and really try to engage the hamstrings, keep that core tight, not using a belt. We're trying to do good volume here. We're not trying to do any junk reps. We're trying to, 1, be healthy, and 2, develop in the sport of CrossFit. So I definitely need some more time either on some banded good mornings, a reverse hyper machine, hyper extensions to improve that backside cardio conditioning of those muscles. Because I wasn't super thrilled with how many sets there were towards the end of this workout. So that was round 3. I finished that in 2 minutes and 39 seconds. That is a plus 19. So a smaller change, but still we are in a very positive split. And not happy about that positive split because, again, that's more time per round. I'm moving much slower. But I think the transition was a little bit quicker and I got right to it. The rope placement was better. In this one, that was a much better lay down of the rope. I took a half second just to think and place it how I needed it to. Looking at these wall walks, a little bit more squirrely with the legs, kind of a starfish look to them. Again, it's something I want to assess and play around with when I take some time for some skill building on the wall walk. Again, as the open approaches and as quarterfinals are coming up. It's something I would like to focus on as I do believe it will be one of the movements that are announced at some point in the competition of the next 2 months. So 3, not the craziest volume, but you just kind of have to buckle down and move. You can really take a lot of time between reps and it can really take away from your score when you don't need as much cardio base and it's more just that body weight strength and endurance. Not really like a heart and lung endurance, but just pure shoulder capacity. So if you don't have that shoulder capacity, please break it up as need be. But with a number like 3, you should be able to move pretty quickly with minimal rest in between sets. Here's where the toes to bar start to fall apart. The grip is absolutely fried. So I was actually tightening up my grips to get a better feel for the bar. I felt like my hands, because I had to kind of reach up and I didn't feel comfortable jumping up onto the bar, my grip was a little bit more narrow. So it didn't offer me that same feel. And as you can see, I'm really fighting for some reps here. I think that was 2 sets. We're getting to, as I'm shaking out my arms, the grip is absolutely exploding. 1 tip on the kettlebells. If you grip the more front end of the kettlebell, it actually shortens the length of the rep because if the kettlebell is turned ever so slightly, it does lengthen the kettlebell. And we're talking, I don't know, a couple centimeters, 1/4 of an inch, not much, but in the realm and scheme of a deadlift where you're doing 100 repetitions, you are saving a little bit of time, a little bit of energy. So that 1% efficiency can be advantageous throughout the entirety of the workout. But still, the grip was absolutely exploding here. There was a lot of pain. Necessarily, the hamstrings actually felt pretty good. I just wish I would have mentally kind of sucked it up a little bit more, but I was kind of concerned with dropping a kettlebell on my toes because the grip was really, really burning at this point. So that was round number 4. We are entering the last round of this workout. The time split was 2:52, and that is a plus 13. So a much more consistent round, but the pace, again, we are slowing down, which is not ideal. I would like to, again, see things in sub 10 fashion. So as that will show, I'm not bobbling side to side on my dubs, but I did move backwards and I did actually scrape that wall. So good to be fatigued as I am and to be able to nail a few single unders before going into the double unders. Just a little mental focus there. So that's why I just dropped the rope. It's the end of the workout. Don't care how it's placed. I need a quicker transition. We need to get to work. So very starfish wall walk again. I'm not happy with how long it took me to get into that next one. I should have done it like an efficient burpee where my chest just smashes into the ground and I should be right back up. This is way too long. This is a 4-second break right there. Don't need that. Like, I just need to go. Like, I was just being soft mentally and not plugging into the fact that I just needed to go because I'm laying down. My breathing against the ground is not going to be as efficient as if I was just standing up breathing normally and taking those 2 to 3 seconds to get more oxygen in. So I would have moved much faster on those wall walks. So you will see me readjust quite a bit on these toes to bar, and that is because my grip was absolutely cooked. I think that was a set of 5, maybe 6 there. I think I went 6, 5, 4. Again, the grip and everything felt so weird. My feet were coming apart and I was really fighting to find a very comfortable position. So there's a set of 5 and I think I finished with a set of 4 here on the toes to bar. And again, at this point I was kind of sketching because I could not feel my forearms and I just wanted to hold on. Like right here, I was literally hanging on with like my ring and my pinky finger and they were on the very, very edges of that. So there was the last 15 toe to bar. Here we go with the deadlifts. I wanted to open up with a much bigger set, but I think I only opened up with like 5 here because the grip was really just going. And I really did think even with the leather grips over top, the victory grips, I did believe I was gonna drop the kettlebells at some point. Massive pain face. At this point, I was like, all right, you just gotta suck it up and you just gotta crank out some reps. And it did get a little hairy at the end. So I don't know how many reps are left per se, but we are moving towards the end of the workout. Quick rest periods, which I'm really happy with. That was a readjustment, that little elbow flare you saw there. I don't know if in competition that would be a good standard, but there we go. There's the 20th deadlift. Felt pretty good. I did need a moment as I'm taking now to rest and recover before my clean and jerk session. So just talking a little bit about nutrition, hydration, getting in some honey, took some liquid carbs and a lot of water. And because I'm talking for these 12 to 13, 15 minutes, I will also be taking in a little bit of water, a little bit of salt before I start warming up for the clean and jerk. And the goal today is to, hit a heavy double clean, and after the second clean, to jerk that overhead. So a little complex work there. I'm really excited to get into that. But back to the workout, that 5th and final round took 2 minutes and 48 seconds. That is a negative 4-second split. So I was very happy with my finishing speed to have enough energy to really push and beat that 4th round before we got to the 5th. I would have liked to seen a little bit more even pace throughout the workout, looking from round 1, hitting a 148 to hitting a 248. That's a minute drop off across 5 rounds. I would like to see, again, a little bit tighter with my splits. So maybe pace a little bit more, but also to game plan going in was seeing how hot can one go and how long can you hold on. So that is episode 4 of the 2023 CrossFit season. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for watching these breakdowns. I hope you guys are enjoying them. And as always, peace and much love.